What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. I'm Michigan Sports Talk here. In this one, we go over Sherrone Moore comparing Donaven McCulley to Nico Collins. Plus, he also speaks on quarterback Bryce Underwood, how he is handling the pressure as a true freshman, and also give an update on the offensive line, where things stand at the left tackle and right guard position. Plus, defensive tackle Tre Williams talks about transferring to Michigan, why it's a special place, why he is embracing the veteran role and a leader in the defensive line room, as Michigan fans going to fall in love with Tre Williams next season. It's all going to be in this video and more, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so I first wanted to start by talking about the wide receiver room, and one of the major additions from the transfer portal was the Indiana wide receiver transfer Donaven McCulley, who has a strong chance to be the #1 target for Bryce Underwood or whoever is the starting quarterback for the Wolverines next season. And according to Alejandro Zuniga of 24/7 Sports and the Michigan Insider, he said the guy who stood out the most in camp was Donaven McCulley. People didn't get to see much of him in the spring game, but he's done some dynamic things in spring ball, and excited to see where he goes. And he also did say that he earned the #1 jersey because of it. He even said that some of the defensive guys were looking over at him and saying, yeah, I think he's that guy. And Sherrone Moore even did compare him to former Michigan wideout and standout wide receiver Nico Collins. He said he caught a couple post balls on people and we're like, okay, all right, we haven't seen that since Nico. And he said that that's what he reminds us of a little bit. And I tell you what, if we get to see another Nico Collins type wide receiver here at Michigan this upcoming season, boy oh boy, is that going to be fun to watch here for the Wolverines. And I hope Donaven McCulley can be a Nico Collins type of receiver for Michigan this season. But Sherrone Moore also talked about a little bit of other wide receivers as well in the wide receiver room. He said Fred Moore is another guy that we think had a really good bowl game, stepped up in the bowl game, and we're excited to see where he goes. And also Andrew Marsh, freshman, another good one, and Channing Goodwin really took a step this spring. We're also excited about Jamar Browder, who is a 6'5" freshman receiver. And then he said, Samaj Morgan, he's a guy that's had some highlights throughout his career, but they're excited to see where he goes. And I am excited to see what Samaj Morgan has this season with a better quarterback in there. We saw what he had in store as far as, his talents go his freshman season with quarterback JJ McCarthy in there. And he's a guy that if you use him correctly, he can be a weapon offensively. So, some of these receivers should have some breakout seasons here as the Wolverines looking for anybody to step up in the wide receiver room. And Sherrone Moore also spoke on Bryce Underwood and handling the pressure and the quarterback competition, as he said that he handles pressure better than any freshman I've ever been around. The closest was JJ, and JJ handled it really well, but I think there is added pressure because he's a guy from right down the road and his family's here. We all know he's got the work ethic, he's got the arm talent, the athleticism, everything, but as a freshman, it comes the learning curve. And, he said that Underwood's biggest growth since joining Michigan has been his processing ability. He said playbooks are different, plays are different. You've got to get timing with your receivers, with your skill guys, and doing all the things. And there's more to the offense than he's ever had to deal with. And then also, handling plays and being in a huddle, calling out plays in a huddle, it's different for him. And he said his biggest growth is probably the huddle procedure and processing in general since he has arrived here at Michigan. So that's a little update on Bryce Underwood. And then also, according to Alejandro Zuniga of the Michigan Insider, Sherrone Moore also spoke on some of the offensive line, and more in particular the left tackle and right guard starting positions here, as right now it is open for grabs. At left tackle, you got Evan Link, Andrew Babalola, and then we also talked about Blake Frazier yesterday, as he has been generating some buzz this summer But Sherrone Moore said, right now, Evan Link is a guy that ended off the season really well for us. He played at a really high level, especially those last 2 games. And, he said he played left side his whole high school career. So changing from side to side, people might not know. It's difficult if you haven't done it. And he did struggle, a little bit on the right side. But once he switched to the left side, he did pretty good. But then he said true freshman Andrew Babalola, who was a superstar in the making, an absolute freak show athletically. And then the next guy is Blake Frazier, he said. And he just said it's heavy competition with super talented guys. But the left tackle position, just like the right guard position, is open for competition when fall camp starts in a few weeks. And speaking on the right guard position, he said right now Nathan Afobe has done a really good job, but then also guys like Jake Guarnera, who is also working at the center spot, and Lawrence Hattar, who transferred in from Ferris State. He said that he's a guy that is really taking this summer and taking it hard. So those are right now the 2 offensive line spots that seem to be open for competition here in fall camp. And the Michigan coaching staff has said in the past that, Giovanni El-Hadi, Greg Crippen, and Andrew Sprague most likely going to be starters on the offensive line. Then there'd be a rotation there, could be Brady Norton, Andrew Babalola, bunch of guys that could be in different spots, so they'll figure it out in fall camp. But that's where we stand right now as far as the left tackle position and right guard position. Just let me know what you guys think about that, and who you guys think will be starting at the left tackle and right guard position. Now, I said it in yesterday's video, one thing is for sure, the future of the offensive line is in good hands. Wolverines got a lot of young talent on the offensive line, so it should be very good in the future along with this whole team. But I also wanted to talk about new Michigan transfer defensive tackle Tre Williams, who transferred from Clemson. He is a 6'2", 315-pound defensive tackle entering his 6th season of college football, and he spoke on In the Trenches podcast with Jon Jansen, and he said, on the field, I bring leadership, passion, and experience, big game experience, physicality. I try to be almost like, I don't want to say a tone setter, but I kind of want to set the example and be the example. He also was asked why he chose the Wolverines, and he said, I don't think that's the right question. He said, I think the right question is, why not come to Ann Arbor? He said, I mean, you guys have everything somebody like me could want. Great history of defensive tackles, defensive linemen, great defenses, great tradition with the school and the alumni base. There's no reason why I wouldn't have come here. He also did say that he does get called Unc a lot around his teammates here at Michigan. He said, I'm still trying to get used to it, but he did say, I'm honored to be called Unc because that means you know something. They don't call you Unc if you don't know anything, as he has been quite the leader here, teaching the young guys. He said he's just trying to give his knowledge where I can, and the guys have been really receptive. And I tell you what, Michigan fans going to like Tre Williams this upcoming season. He is the definition of a Michigan football player. He talked about all the setbacks he's gone throughout his career. Said he's had a bunch of injuries, minor setbacks, and nothing is worse than when the game is away from you. And he said he leaned on his why just because I knew this was bigger than me. If it was just about me, I could have quit 3-4 years ago and it would have just been fine. But I know that I have people that are counting on me at home, and just the bond I built with my former teammates over there, they were counting on me to get back and be who I was, be who I am. So he said, it was just that, just doing everything for other people. And as far as the defensive line group here at Michigan, he said, first of all, we hang out a lot. We made a rule in the room. We have to hang out as a group once a week at least. So it's pretty cool. This defensive line going to be elite again, one of the best in college football. It should be next season. And for them to have, veteran leaders like Tre Williams building a bond together, it's just going to help them dominate that much more this upcoming season. So let me know what you guys think about that. But with that, no recruiting news today. We'll get back with that in a little bit. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to go ahead, drop a like, comment down below, and subscribe for more if you are new around here. I greatly appreciate it. And we will see you guys in the next video. Go Blue.